If you grew up in church, you've heard a question that has probably kept you up at least one night of your life. Tonight, are you 100% sure you'd go to heaven? It's the question evangelists use to get you down the aisle. It's the question that sits in the back of your mind when you mess up again. It's the question that makes you wonder if you've believed hard enough, repented sincerely enough, or done enough good things to tip the scales. And for 2,000 years, Christians have been tying themselves in knots trying to answer it, when Jesus already answered it in a single word. A word he shouted from a cross with his last breath. A word that was so common in the ancient world that archaeologists have found it on shopping receipts. A word that, if you understand what it actually meant, will destroy every insecurity you've ever had about whether you're really saved. That word is Tetelestai, and it doesn't mean it is finished the way you think it does. John chapter 19, verse 30. Jesus has been on the cross for 6 hours. He's been beaten, mocked, pierced, and abandoned. The sky has gone dark. The earth has shaken. And with the last bit of strength in his lungs, he cries out one word in Greek, Tetelestai, teleo, to complete, to finish, to bring to an end, to accomplish a purpose, to pay a debt, and the form Jesus uses is the perfect tense. Tetelestai, it has been completed, it is finished, and it will remain finished forever. The perfect tense in Greek doesn't exist in English. It means that an action has been completed in the past, but its effects continue into the present, and they will continue into the future. It's done, it's still done, and it will never be undone. When Jesus said Tetelestai, he wasn't saying, I'm dying now. He was saying, the payment has been made, the debt is canceled, and no one can ever put it back. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Because Tetelestai wasn't just a theological word. It was a business word. In the ancient world, when you paid off a debt, the creditor would write Tetelestai across the receipt. Archaeologists have found papyrus documents, tax receipts, loan agreements, bills of sale, with this exact word stamped across them, paid in full, debt canceled, nothing more owed. Imagine you owe a debt you could never repay, the kind of debt that would take multiple lifetimes to work off. And someone walks into the bank, pays every last cent, and hands you the receipt with one word written across it. Tetelestai. That's what Jesus did. He took your debt, every sin you've committed, every sin you will commit, every failure, every betrayal, every selfish thought, every moment of weakness, and he paid for it, all of it, past, present, and future, and then he stamped the receipt. In Colossians 2:14, Paul describes it this way. He says that God canceled the record of debt that stood against us with its legal demands. This he set aside, nailing it to the cross. The Greek word Paul uses for record of debt is chirographan. It means a handwritten certificate of debt, an IOU, something you signed, something that proved you owed. And Paul says God took that chirographan, that list of everything you've ever done wrong, everything the enemy accuses you with, everything your own conscience beats you up over, and he nailed it to the cross. And when Jesus said Tetelestai, he was signing the bottom of that certificate, paid, in full. Now let me ask you something. If your debt is paid, why are you still trying to make payments? This is where most Christians live. They believe Jesus saved them, but they act like they're on a payment plan. They sin, and they feel like they need to do something to balance the scales. Go to church more, pray harder, feel guilty for a few days, punish themselves just a little. But Tetelestai means the scales don't exist anymore. The debt doesn't exist anymore. The receipt has been stamped. The certificate has been nailed to the cross. There is no balance to pay off. In Romans 8, the verse we started this series with, Paul says, There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. The Greek word is katakrima, the judicial sentence, the legal punishment. And Paul says there is zero katakrima for you. Why? Because of Tetelestai. Because the payment was made. Because the debt was canceled. Because the receipt was stamped. You can't condemn someone whose sentence has already been served. You can't collect a debt that's already been paid. You can't accuse someone whose certificate of debt has been nailed to a cross and signed by the Son of God. Tetelestai means the courtroom is empty. The case is closed. The judge has already ruled. And his ruling is final. So let me ask you the question differently. Not, if you died tonight, are you sure you'd go to heaven? Instead, ask yourself this. Do I believe that when Jesus said Tetelestai, he meant me, not the pastor, not the missionary, not the person who's never struggled with doubt, me, the one who falls, the one who fails, the one who's sitting here right now, feeling like I've crossed too many lines and committed too many sins and wandered too far away? Do I believe Tetelestai includes me? Because that's the only question that matters. Not have I believed enough, not have I repented enough, not have I done enough good works. Just this, is his payment enough for my debt? And here's the answer. Not from me, from him. It is finished. Not it might be finished if you behave. Not it's partially finished and you need to finish the rest. Not it was finished until you messed up and now you need to get it refinished. Tetelestai, perfect tense. Completed in the past, continuing in the present, unchanging in the future. The debt is paid. The receipt is stamped. The certificate is nailed to the cross. And there is nothing you can do, nothing you can fail to do, no sin you can commit, no doubt you can have, that can unpay a debt that has already been paid in full. So tonight, if you've been lying awake, wondering if you're really saved, stop. Not because your faith is strong enough, but because his payment is. If you've been beating yourself up over a sin from years ago, stop. That sin was included in the debt he paid. He knew about it when he said Tetelestai, and he paid for it anyway. If you've been afraid to die because you're not sure you've done enough, stop. It was never about what you do. It was always about what he did, and what he did is finished. Tetelestai. If this video brought you peace you didn't have 10 minutes ago, hit subscribe. Every week, we open the Word and show you what the Greek actually says. No fear, no manipulation, just truth. And if you know someone who's been lying awake, asking the question, send this to them. Sometimes the thing that lets someone finally sleep isn't a better argument. It's a single word, spoken from a cross, with their name written on the receipt, Tetelestai, paid in full.